Hi everybody, Radical Gardener. Yep, 2 videos in one day. Okay, finally some decent lighting, right? So I'm in my garden. I'm outside. It's so beautiful out. It's perfect weather. This is when people come to Florida. So let's see. All right, I gotta tell you, it's a pet peeve. So ever since this chaos has been amped up over the last 4 years. You see more separation than before this all started. So let me kind of expound on why this is, it's just not the right direction. Okay, so I've done so much reading in the last few years, and I share all these books I read, and and then the Spalding books and the Steiner books, but we read all 9, we being my little reading group, Catherine and I and Gretchen. We read all of Paul Selig's books, which are so powerful, and it's all about what got us here, in the first place. I mean, you can't blame anybody. You can't blame anybody. You have to look within, and those were the answers we were looking for, because we were in this real adversarial frame of mind. Oh, look at, and you can call anything you want. Oh, look at, the liberals have lost their mind, they've become communist. Or you can say, religious zealots, they've created so much separation. I mean, you can just keep pointing your fingers everywhere. And it has to stop. And so it's about finding a place of accountability. And so where the Selig books really keep reminding you, and you need 9 books to keep reminding you, trust me on this. We always need daily reminding. We ain't no saints. And so it's reminding us that, number one, we as individuals decided before we came into this body what we wanted our experiences to be. So that means you can't blame anybody for anything. Now, people are going to get into, what about abuse? What about this? I am not going to go there, because I do not want to diminish or play past horrible things. But I'm going to speak for me personally, so everybody can believe what they need to believe, and they have their own personal experience. But I had a mom that used to tell me all the time that you're just here for the experience. You're just here for the experience. You're just here for the experience. I mean, she just beat that into my head. And like when I would worry about things, she would say, well, what are you worried about? It's already happened. You just haven't gotten there yet. And, what she meant by that is that, these decisions were made so when I, would come waltzing through in this lifetime to experience these things, to really bring me out of separation and into the I am, the God, the Spirit, the Creator. I like to say Creator because I think that religion has been co-opted, and they use God for things that really aren't very divine. So I like to stay with Creator. I like the Native American and the indigenous words for, or terminology for the I am. So anyways, the point being is that this personal, journey, this experience is so that I will acknowledge where I have kept myself separate and think I'm better than or different than everybody else or somebody else. And also, it puts me in a place of non-judgment. So everything that is here is from the Creator, not one thing. You can't come up with one thing that is from the Creator. So that includes Biden, that includes Fauci. This is all, it's all from the Creator. And so you have that journey, but then you have the collective consciousness, and you have that journey. So the collective consciousness is, in my opinion, is also processing how they have been separated. So every time you say, well, he's doing that or he's doing this or that, listen, it feels impossible not to point fingers and not to make judgments. It just feels impossible. And especially when somebody is purposely murdering others and children and all of that. It just feels that. But, it comes to that thing where if God is not judgmental, and religious people, they go bonkers on this. They God is, God judges those, I don't believe that. All Eastern philosophies that I've read don't believe it. All indigenous, indigenous cultures, they don't believe it. It's not that they don't practice, say something, an eye for an eye, but they, and let me not go there because I really don't know what that thinking is. I really don't. But it's really about the I am and recognizing the I am in this universe. Okay, that was important for me. Might not be important for you, because I don't want to sit in judgment anymore. You know who suffers from that? I do, and I don't want to suffer anymore. So, right. So, what I always did believe, but maybe didn't practice all the time, is I used to say that, we all are on the same freeway, we just got on a different entrance ramp. So some people are further down that freeway than others. And so however high and mighty, I think I am, or how correct I think I am, or how, pure I think I am, I have no idea who's on the freeway ahead of me. I might be way back there. Brings me to the next point. If I see one more group of people that states or believes that they've been chosen to evolve, leaving the rest of us here, I'm gonna honestly, I'm gonna pitch a fit. I don't even know how people can come up with that and even believe that. I can't. It's separation of the highest magnitude. Here's how it works. We all evolve, or nobody evolves. We are all one. We are separate within the one. We are separate within the God. We are separate within the I am. And to decide that 144,000 of us, or that's a number that comes up a lot, are going to be chosen. Here's my other favorite one. Or that are going to move into the next dimension. We're moving into the fourth dimension. Not anytime soon there, Charlie Brown. That will probably, and this is again, all of the studies that I've done, the year that keeps coming up where there's going to be a real, and that's not going to be, we're not going to go into a different dimension. We're just going to, I don't believe we're going to go into a different dimension. Let me put it that way. We will evolve as humanity in compassion, kindness, but the year's like 2080. That's what keeps coming up. So that's not very far ahead. That's not a long ways off as far as time goes. Actually, it's pretty quick. So a lot of things will happen between now and then for us to let go of the judgment. But I'm sorry, Charlie Brown, if you think you're one of the 144,000 or 10 or 20, or your religion's going to evolve and not this religion, and this group of people's going to evolve, not this group, and this race of people's going to, not this race, or, this contingent, this religious entity is going to, is going to do it, not this one. Really, is that you think that's how the I am, the love, the one, you think that's how, the creator thinks? You're more special. I think, we're going to bump you up. That's religion. That's where separation is. So, I don't know. It's a pet peeve. There's no getting around the hard work. You got to work really hard at this stuff. Some people come by it really naturally. I mean, my mother, she was such a loving human being. I mean, she was amazing. She couldn't say shit if she had a mouthful. And she was so kind to everybody. And I remember back, it was like 1964, and our neighbor, we lived in an upstairs flat and they were a downstairs flat, and they were Lebanese. They were Christian Lebanese. And their son, now this 1964 was gay, and that's a Lebanese family. This is a pretty traditional family. And their son was gay, and you could tell that he's, he probably had a hard time of it. His mother was really wonderful. I mean, she was best friends with my mom. But, my mom never even thought about if he was gay or not. And he used to sit up and have tea with my mother and talk to her. Jehovah's Witnesses would knock on the door, and my mother would invite him in and make him tea and then tell him she didn't believe in sin. They loved her, though. I mean, she was so kind to them. I mean, she didn't, and I don't know how I ended up so judgmental. I have had to work so freaking hard at that. Jeez. And I know, logically, okay, you're not any better than anybody else. What's your problem, And then you just get really frustrated. Why is that person doing that? And why is this person saying that? Why is this person taking advantage of that person? That's me. I have 5 planets in Libra, so my whole thing's about justice. I'm always picking up the baton and running with it. And, so, I mean, I guess it's okay to say why, but, how about if I just look and say, they're here for their experience. I mean, come on. What a relief. I'm not in charge of humanity. Sometimes you would think I was, right? If I'm being honest. So, yeah, I just want to touch on that. I just never want to hear that again on how some group of people is going to go off with the aliens or with the angels, or, vaporize into the next dimension. I just don't think that any of us get. Now, what I will say that I've seen or read, I haven't seen it, but I mean people like Ron Goss have, is that when you're talking about like yogis that have been in meditation and in prayer and have been a part of different spiritual modalities that have been handed down for thousands of years, they seem to be able to straddle, is it dimensions? Is that the right word? But where they can be in several places at one time. There's many who really maintain their body and they come and go. Some over a couple of thousand years. You've got to read the Spalding books where they're traveling through the Himalayas and how these people appear to them and guide them. It is fantastic. Spalding. It's a book of it's a collection of 6 volumes, small. I think each one's about 90 pages long. And it was like in the 20s. I think it was written in the 20s or 30s. But it was a wonderful read. But yeah, that kind of wakes you up to what goes on, in places that maybe we're not privy to. Anyway, so, all right, just rambling, just talking, just connecting with you. So what is my next thing we're going to do here? Well, I'm going to try and go to work tomorrow. Diane's been picking up the slack because I really don't want to work on people in, with the cube and the EE system, hobbling around. It's really tiring to not be able to just walk normal. So I'm just worn out from it all. But it's just a toe, it could be worse. Remember, I'm 71. The fact that I haven't, I haven't had a stroke, or, I haven't, not that I'm going to, that isn't how I'm going to go. But, so I'm grateful for it. And I just got done with the book by Ram Dass called Still Here. And it's about his journey through the stroke. And so am I glad that I just read that, because it's just teaching me to have patience with myself. Nope, I can't really do anything right now. And, I'm going to be hobbling around and, I'll be able to maybe fertilize my plants, but I can't go around and, fill up the pots with some new soil because I'm not really 100% yet. And so I just got to let it go and just realize that, I'm just going to be low key and can't do a lot. And thank goodness that, my business is, I have a wonderful partner that I get to work with. I'll tell you, man, Dr. Barrett, Diane, she is something else. I just adore her. So, she's so busy and she's, picked up the slack and she's over there. I'm going to try and go tomorrow. We'll see how I do. But she also does tuning fork therapy. I'm telling you, I know people do that. You haven't seen anything until she does it. She's amazing. She is so amazing. I think of all the people I could have met in Palm Coast, and I got to meet Diane, is pretty special. I'm very grateful for that friendship. Just like in Michigan with Dr. Snell and my friend Catherine. Geez, they're just amazing people. And, how was I so lucky to have those women in my life and really be able to have very intelligent discussions with, and they're not afraid to call bullshit when something's bullshit, and they're not afraid of the fight. If they don't think something's right, man, they're feisty. They're my kind of women. I'm just so grateful that these people are in my life. So, okay, that's it for me. So, hey, you guys, I'm going to dye my hair. I'm going to dye it burgundy when I get a paycheck. Okay, so my Radical Gardener, my garden to yours. Your garden always grow. I'm sending you a ton of love.